dude.
Where is my stylist?
Hair, makeup.
We start sending people to people's houses.
Embarrassing.
Dude, I feel your pain. Actually, my wife just cut my hair.
If you were talking to me, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was saying I
You
feel
did?
your.
Don't do that.
My wife just cut my hair, like, because I hadn't cut it since the pandy started, you know. So
Yeah.
the pandy.
So that's a new take.
It was like way down here, man, and I just was like, I got to get it trimmed a little because I haven't been to the hair cuttery. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
You're making a lot of new terms.
You got some new terms going on.
Oh, you never heard pandy?
Never heard pandy or the cuttery.
Or hand sanitizer. What about hand sanny? Hand sanny pandy?
Hand sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't cut my hair in 5 years, I think. No trims, nothing. I'm not into it.
Wow.
Really? Man.
Yeah, I don't.
So does it?
I don't like it.
Does it slow down a little as time goes or something?
Oh yeah.
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 Okay.
But I've been taking a lot of marine collagen since the pandy started.
Yeah.
Because my wife's on big on the vitamin train.
Yeah.
Supplement train, and so it's been growing a little bit more, and my nails grow so fast now.
Oh, yeah.
I have to clip them like twice a day.
Twice a day?
No, not really twice a day. Maybe once a week.
You're
just like
Are you becoming a werewolf?
You're gonna be like the guy on the Guinness World Records.
I'm gonna have to take a break about halfway through this to clip my nails.
You just like bring your foot up your.
People listening just hear these like click, click, click. Yeah.
Oh man.
My
Really gross, guys.
My mother-in-law was like telling us to take biotin, for your hair and stuff.
Yeah.
So my wife started taking it, but she she was taking like 10,000. What do they call it? MCUs or whatever it is. 10,000 a day or something. I was like
10,000 Marvel Cinematic Universes.
Exactly. And I was like, that sounds like a lot. And one day she starts her legs start like swelling, and she was kind of freaking out. And I was like, well, let's elevate them, and we're trying different stuff. And then I was like, what have you done different? And I was like, I went and looked at her. I was like, oh, you were taking this biotin, and I Google it, and it was like one of the side effects of like taking way too much biotin is holding water and like retention of water. So I was like, you're doing this to yourself. This is it. Don't take. No. You don't need that many. Just like I was like, the multivitamin you take already has it in it, so you're like overdoing this.
She might not have been taking enough.
Right.
Oh, she needed more
because you have to build an immunity. So
biotin? No, I'm not taking medical advice from you.
Biotin's supposed to help like hair growth. I took some for a little bit. Still lost my hair.
Didn't work.
It didn't work.
Gotcha.
You have other hair.
Yeah.
I don't know. It maybe
I
helped
assume.
this a little bit.
Oh, so here's the question.
Yeah, neck down, hairless.
Wait, so I have a question then. So if you had to choose, if you could not grow facial hair, but you could have all your hair back, what would be your choice?
I think I would still take the facial hair.
Yeah.
Keep the beard. Because I can't grow facial hair very well.
Yeah, he's got beard. This guy has beard envy so bad over here.
It's dumb.
He's buying all the stuff online.
I actually tried it. I bought all the stuff that like you're supposed to take to make it grow. Nothing.
Really?
Yeah, I just
nothing.
Have you done the roller thing?
Yeah, I tried that. It just doesn't like. I just gave up. It doesn't work.
Huh. I bet you feel really stupid. Like
yes. You got like the beard comb, and it's like, cool. This feels great on my face that doesn't have a beard.
Obviously, we're not sponsored by Hims or what brand? What was it?
It was Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch. That's right. Yeah.
Which that's the guy that I feel like people come up to me. Well, when people used to come up to other people on the street.
Yes.
They don't anymore. They would come to me and be like, "You look just like that guy from Dr. Squatch."
Yep.
See, we were wondering if you get that.
Yeah, we didn't know if it would be like insensitive to ask.
How
like, is that rude?
Oh, it's certainly not insensitive. I mean, he's a great looking guy, so
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah.
One guy, really only one guy says it to me constantly. And every time I see him, I'm not
That's
kidding.
the best.
He'll be like, Dr. Squatch! And I'm like, I don't look that much like the dude. I have long hair and a beard. And he's like, you look just like the guy from Dr. Squatch and the sunglasses commercials, man.
Where
I'm
was
like,
it that you were like having to go to the bathroom somewhere and some drunk guy like kept on calling you Jesus?
Yeah, I went to a concert. I think it was at the Fox Theater or something. But yeah, the line was so long, and to the bathroom. I finally get in there. I'm trying to remember the story now. I finally get in there. Oh no, I was in line, and the guy was like, "Dang, dude, if Jesus has got to wait in line, we all got to wait in line." Something like that. He was like so drunk. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, go forth and
I
urinate."
get that too.
Yeah.
I was at a Starbucks about a year ago, and I ordered, and I went to pay, and she was like, "Oh no, the Son of God does not have to pay here." I was like,
Yeah,
Okay.
cool.
That's
I
so
guess
funny.
I'm coming back to this Starbucks.
That's so good. Yeah. I guess I'll have a second coming here
Yeah.
at the Starbucks. Don't laugh at that.
Oh,
That one was
man.
terrible.
Oh,
I
man.
already did.
Too late.
Oops.
So what have you been up to during the pandemic?
Parenting.
Yeah.
Just a whole lot of parenting.
Mm.
I don't think I'm a filmmaker anymore. I think I am really just a parent.
Just a dad now.
Did you have
It's a
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
it's just a mess.
Yeah.
Nashville's been a little bit more strict about schools than I think Georgia, a lot of Georgia has.
Yeah.
So my kids are not in school. They have school here. Luckily, my third grader is at another person's house today. And so
Nice.
that hellscape is happening elsewhere today. It'll be here tomorrow.
So do you guys like take
It's
turns?
it's just intense.
Do you guys take turns with the kids in terms of like schooling kind of?
Yeah, so we're in our 4th week right now, and we have 3 families with 3 girls that in this pod, and so we have them like 2 or 3 days a week, and I don't know if it's working.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that they're learning anything.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about.
Yeah, that was my question. Are you having to like relearn a bunch of stuff, like going back over things
no,
you forgot, or?
Well, what I've learned is that I need to be. Like, I thought I could kind of let them be autonomous and let their teacher, guide them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not working. So tomorrow when I have them, I'm starting a whole new thing where I am in there all the time. I'm basically an assistant teacher, and I'm going to know everything
No
they're
pay.
doing. And
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how that's going to go.
Did they just are they easily distracted being at home and just having to like learn through a computer and like it's just hard to focus and pay attention?
100%.
Yeah.
And they end up watching cake videos or, who knows what else. The first week, one of the girls like just kept playing with this pillow. She just picked up this pillow and she's like, "Ooh, pillow." I'm like, just pay attention. You've seen a pillow before.
How old are your kids? So you have a third grader.
I have an 8-year-old who's in 3rd grade and a 4-year-old who's in pre-K. And the 4-year-old, man, she loves school. She has a couple calls a day, and her teacher's super engaging. It's awesome.
That's cool.
The 8-year-old, so many tears. We're drowning in tears over here from the 3rd graders.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Yeah, I really wouldn't wish it on anyone. I think it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
Really?
My
Yeah, and the real kicker is that my wife was a teacher for 10 or 11 years. So she's awesome at it. But she no longer teaches. She works in production, which is picked up again. So like she's been working a ton. And so she's just not here. And so I am very much not a teacher, and I get to do the teaching.
Well, I feel like if anything, this might inspire something for you. Like I feel like there's a screenplay in this. Just you being stuck at home with
Maybe.
the kids during a pandemic. It sounds like a movie I would watch.
Well, somebody was saying that the other day, and I was like, it'll be a long time before I want to relive any of this. So like
Gotcha.
making a film out of this sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But there's those other indie filmmakers that are like the opportunists that have made a film like 2 weeks into the pandemic, and they're like, my experience on the pandemic,
Yeah.
or something,
For sure.
it's like 2 weeks in.
That's not me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
The world is not dying to hear my voice on my experience of the pandemic quite yet.
Yeah.
How does it feel to have directed a post-apocalyptic movie and now living in a pandemic? Is it a little strange?
Surreal?
Yeah, and it's really weird. I mean, it's a little too soon, I guess is the term for it. I was hoping for a little bit more time to bask in having made a movie before movies ended. But it does have a lot of parallels as far as thematic things, and I would love to say that it's helped me, like the journey we went through with the film and thematically and all that has helped me be a better parent and like try to figure this out, but I'm not sure it has. I think apocalypses are always going to be shocking and awing and knock you off your feet. I don't think there's no actual preparing. So
yeah.
No. Now, does it make me want to run for the mountains and hide in a cabin and not see anyone for 20 years? Yes.
Yeah. Now, because do you guys live in more?
That's not the case.
Are you guys in a more populated area where you live?
Yeah, we live in East Nashville, where all the other artsy bozos live.
Yeah. Cool.
Which is awesome. I mean, we really, really love it here, but we live on a busy street and there's many, many people, which I actually love. I thrive in crowded environments, and so it's good. I mean, it's definitely been very stressful as far as the large groups of people being around. We run an Airbnb in our backyard, so there's like constant strangers coming through, which is a weird thing in a viral apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to like go in there and clean after them every day. But I haven't had any COVID yet.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah.
It's kind of weird to think about that Georgia. I guess Georgia's just really like, let's just get back to it. And like every other state still, I feel like
it's like the Wild West.
Down. Yeah, we're just like trying it out and just winging it and seeing what happens.
We're definitely the guinea pigs of the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys being the guinea pig. It's really
You're welcome.
Because everyone's back at school for us. They're all back in class.
I mean, like the college right here in our hometown here made TMZ, then made national news because the kids were partying.
Oh, it was like as far as the eye could see, people
shoulder to shoulder
block
party, and no mask, not a mask in sight, and so.
Great.
Yeah, so we made it on. We were on TMZ,
CNN. I think even like CBS did something.
The funny part though was my sister sent it to me, and for TMZ, she was like, "Hey, did you make this commercial that's on this TMZ post?" And I was like, "What?" So I see these kids. It's like this hell-raising party. These kids had posted online, and I scroll down. Sure enough, there's a commercial we made for the university that's saying the commercial's all like, "We're doing our best to make sure the students are safe," and it shows people cleaning the classrooms and everything the school's doing to keep the students safe. And so it was basically like this oxymoron happening because it just showed the chaos that really ensued, and then what the school was hoping to happen that we had filmed.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it was cool because we made it on TMZ, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you've made it.
I know, man. We should just stop now.
I mean, we have those same things going on in Nashville. I mean, Lower Broadway, where all the honky tonks and everything are. I mean, the city has just like basically not been able to shut them down, much as they try. It's been a giant fight, lots of drama. But I mean, there are hundreds or thousands of people down there. I mean, I haven't seen it with my own eyes because I'm not about to go down there.
Right.
But I hear reports from people who I know who have been down there, and it's just I don't know. My wife and I talk about this a lot. Like when we were 21, 22, 23, like if this had happened, would we partied hard. I was playing music and touring, and if all of a sudden it was like, you can't do any of that, I'm pretty sure I'd be going to parties shoulder to shoulder. I mean, I I hate to admit that I think I would have been that way, but it would have been really, really hard to stop socializing at 21, 22.
Yeah.
That's why I was telling some family. I was like, it's just like 18 to 21-year-olds, and it's like they're doing this anyway without there being a pandemic. It's not like that's going to change their behavior at all.
Yeah, and
Right.
the college cannot control what they're doing off.
Yeah.
They're not, that wasn't on the campus, so that's like there's nothing they can really do.
Right.
And it's private property. Even
Right.
the police can't really come, and I guess, I mean, I don't know. I guess the police could come if people filed some kind of noise complaint or
Yeah.
something, but yeah, it's what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy time.
Yeah, and I don't like to just like resign myself to like, oh, that's kid, kids will be kids, because kids should also be responsible. I mean, that's part of going to college is like learning some amount of responsibility.
Right.
But I also don't really want to sound like the old guy in the room, so
Yeah.
it just so much of this feels so giant and so out of control and so consuming that like even thinking about art and trying to do film in this time, it's just been, there's so little brain space for it. It's been a real struggle. I mean, that and the kids too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm amazed that some people are thriving and like putting stuff out still, and it's especially when this all started, I was like, there's no creative juices.
It's
happening.
hard to be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like writing, it just seems.
Well, I mean, I am being creative, just not in making film. I mean, I'm having to be super creative in keeping my kids entertained,
Right.
keeping them from killing each other, keeping them interested in being in our house most of the time.
Yeah.
And like being in my house constantly is forcing me to look at my house constantly. So like I've been building furniture and, like
Home Depot made a killing.
And, spring and summertime.
during this.
Oh, for real.
Dude,
For real. Home Depot's been doing very, very well.
They were packed.
Yeah.
Like every single time I went, they were just packed out, and you had to wait to get inside the store.
Yep.
It was dumb.
So what all did you build, furniture-wise?
I built patio furniture. I mean, it's nothing like fancy. When we converted our detached garage into an Airbnb, there was all this wood, like 60, 70-year-old wood that I pulled out. And so it's this beautiful lumber. And so I just made some very rudimentary tables and things that now our porch is, habitable. Do a lot of gardening in spring and summer. So that's all pretty creative. At least hits some of that.
Yeah.
And having my wife home all the time, she wants to change everything in the house so that, that like the creative juices are flowing.
Yeah.
But I'm a very collaborative filmmaker and artist. So, Hudson's busy doing things, and we're certainly collaborating on things, but we can't get together like we were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And neither of us like Zoom calls very much.
Yeah.
And then Jordan just ends.
And we're stuck in this weird. I didn't hear that. What?
Oh, I was saying you're like, I don't really like Zoom calls, and you just leave out.
You're like,
of
I'm
it.
out.
Bye.
See ya.
Continue what you were saying.
We're also in this weird period with This World Alone, where we're not in a necessarily creative period with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is also taking up a lot of space, trying to figure out the distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And all the plans changed. I know Hudson told you guys about the tour that we were gonna do, and it's so some of the creativity is just like brain space creativity is used just like making myself okay with the things that essentially got lost in the pandy fire.
Yeah.
Where, we don't get to go on tour. We don't get to show the movie to people until a distributor makes it available everywhere.
Yeah, film festivals
So,
being down is a big bummer. Or it has been anyways, because I feel like one of my favorite things to do is go to film festivals and get to see all the new films like every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. And I've been thinking about it a lot the last few days. Just how much I miss it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the community of it. I love getting to watch a bunch of movies that I wouldn't normally otherwise see.
Yeah.
Just having stuff put in front of me, not by an algorithm, but by an actual curator,
Right.
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah. And that's,
but I really struggled with the virtual festivals. Like, I think that's what they need to do, and I think it's awesome, but I'm having trouble with it.
yeah.
It's a personal problem.
Yeah, we had to do our festival virtually. We do like a thing every year. Sozo Bear presents a night at the movies, and like we had it set up. Technically, we could have done it. Like we could have done it at the Holly Theater in Dahlonega. We were all set, but because
It's like a month out, and
it was really more. Yeah, it was like the optics didn't look good. Like if we did it, we knew we were already getting some pushback, and we were like, if someone does get sick or whatever, we were like, it seems insane. Let's just do. Once we decided to do it online, though, we were like, we're gonna try to make this as cool as possible. So we're gonna make cool graphics and make sure the filmmakers can zoom in, and then people on YouTube can send in the chat and ask. So it feels like they can still do the Q&A.
Yeah. I think the difference for ours though was it's a one-night event, so it's 2 hours of someone's time. It's easy to go, okay, I'm going to join a YouTube live stream for a couple of hours instead of these movies are available for me to watch all day at any time, and I just have to log in, watch the movies, but you're not watching it in the theater with other people. You're not getting to interact with the filmmakers, live during the Q&A right after you watch the movie. I agree, where I think for bigger festivals it's a much more difficult way to handle how to do a virtual film fest, because if you're having multiple if your film festival used to be like multiple locations, multiple days, it might work for Sundance because of just the name recognition, but a lot of these smaller, more independent film festivals, it's just kind of getting lost in the shuffle.
Like, how many people want to even tune in for something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't imagine it's very many, but I really hope that it's some.
Yeah, I hope it's enough to tide us over, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot about, if this pandemic had happened a year earlier, I mean, this would have all of the festivals that we were in would have been canceled or put online, and it would have been devastating. And so it's hard to even fathom how the filmmakers are feeling, who spent the last few years making a film, and now it's just virtually on the internet.
Yeah.
What a weird, terrible, the solitude of working on a film. Like the year or so of post-production was brutal for me, because it was just me in my basement editing and trying to do all this stuff. And especially to come right after the glory of production of the 21, 22 of us on set, and just the incredible relationships fused in those 10 days. And then it was just me alone looking at all these people that I'm in love with on screen, that I just I'm in love with their talent, and I just want to be with them, but it's just me. And so the festivals was a huge wave of community coming back, and man, it's just I really am heartbroken for all the filmmakers right now.
We've met so many of our friends in the film community. We met at film festivals over the years, because it's because going to networking events and stuff is always such a drag, because the people there are not real. They're handing you business cards. It's just so fake. And I'm like, dude, this is, I don't want to.
You said they're not real. I just thought of you hop into the simulation and they're
robots.
Hey, here's my business card. And then it's they vaporizers.
Just NPCs.
Not real.
Yeah, but it's like that feeling.
Just a room full of networking bots.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
it feels like everyone goes in there with the purpose of I need to get my name out there, so I'm handing out all these cards, where I feel like after parties or Q&As at Film Fest, you're just you're getting to talk to people who
and
are
they've
in a similar experience, right?
and they've probably seen your work that night,
Yeah.
so there's like a level of mutual respect. Kind of, you're like,
Mhm.
oh, I actually want to talk with this person.
Yeah.
Whereas networking things, it's like, I don't know if this person is full of it or if they're. Some
Mhm.
people are really good at sounding like they do a lot of stuff. You
Yeah.
know?
And you also
Oh,
get
yeah.
to bring your whole community.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to connect
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get like the whole community from set that you used to have, like you were saying, Jordan. Everyone that you worked with is like back together in one room.
Yeah.
And it's I feel like you won't have that again from set besides being at a film festival.
Yeah, I missed that this year when we released, because we had to release our new short film just digitally, online, and so none of the like crew was really there. We had some of the actors on the Zoom call, but no crew was there. And then it was like I missed so much of that experience of people in the room. And like, there's an energy when you all watch the movie together. There's like this energy in the room, and there's not there when we were all just had headphones and stuff, like, because we were the live stream's happening, and a lot of it really, like, we're trying to make sure the live stream's going smoothly, so we're not even really enjoying what we're watching anyway.
Right. Totally. So your guys' new short film is a like second episode of Encounters, is that right?
Yeah. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's it's an anthology, so it's not picking up where the first
so
one took off. It's
Right.
completely different characters, different story, but kind of in the same universe, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love the first one. I saw it. I've seen it once or twice
Thank
at
you.
festivals, and I'm blown away by it. I mean, first of all, emotionally, it's there, which is amazing and hard to pull off. But like,
Thank
you guys
you.
are so technically proficient in a way that I feel like totally lost. Which I grew up a punk rock kid and super DIY, so like I'm pretty comfortable with just cobbling things together. But your guys' work is just so beautiful, and I'm always really, really impressed by it. So I'm
Dude,
excited that there's
thanks, man.
another episode in the anthology.
It's funny you say that, because I often feel like we're cobbling things together. Like, I don't feel like I know. Like, I honestly, like, I meet lots of people who know so much about like everything from like cameras to lenses to whatever. And I always feel like I feel like I can make a shot look good and stuff, but I don't feel like I know as much as a lot of other people. So it's interesting to hear your take on that, because I guess those insecurities are
There for everyone.
has them. Yeah.
I mean,
But-
I think any decent, like, thoughtful, real, a genuine artist feels that way.
Yeah.
I think if you get to a point where you're like, oh, I know everything, I know exactly how to do it. Like you're just
That's when
you're
you
just a
stop
machine
growing.
at that point. Like
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point?
Mhm.
I mean, one of my favorite filmmaking quotes is oddly from a filmmaker that I don't really like his movies all that much at all. But I have tremendous respect for him because of the attitude behind this quote, which is, it's Jim Jarmusch. And a couple years ago, I heard him interviewed, and he was like, I'm still trying to figure out how to make a movie, which is awesome. Cause he's been making movies for,
Yeah.
I don't know, 30, 40 years almost. Like,
Yeah.
and he has made some great movies. There's some that I love. But then I watched like The Dead Don't Die, and I'm like, oh, he is still trying to figure out how to make a movie.
I haven't
but I
seen
think
that
but I
one.
think that's awesome. Like, I hope that I want to be like that. I hope that I have the opportunity to be like trying something new or trying something different, or challenging myself in a way that I might totally fail.
Right.
Yeah.
And just with that, film of course is subjective, and I know people that specific film worked great for. It didn't work for me. But I love that searching, that like experimenting and journey of trying to figure out how to make a movie. So
Yeah.
like, if we're not doing, if an artist isn't exploring,
Then what's the point? Yeah.
Taking chances. Yeah.
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, you should use every single project as an opportunity to grow yourself and advance your skill set and learn something new. And that's
Absolutely.
why I think challenges are really
or really
good.
mess up and be like, okay, this didn't work.
Yeah, and so then you know how to not hit that wall again.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
we never are intentionally messing up, but it's something always is messed up, and then we're like, okay, well, now we figure out how to fix this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally. And the other thing, I like to also surround myself with people who are way smarter and way technically better and way more creative and just more brilliant than me. And that's what I do with Hudson. And my DP, Trisha Solon, is like the smartest person I've ever met. And she knows, she might actually know everything about cameras and lenses and lights, which is awesome. And our mutual friend, Chase Yarborough.
Yeah, Chase is awesome.
Oh yeah,
He's a rock star.
He's a guru
Yeah,
when it
absolutely.
comes to lighting.
So yeah, but maybe one of the weirdest things to me right now is that like since switching to making a feature, which we shot that 3 years ago, which that was a lifetime ago. I mean, we had already wrapped 3 years ago. I had started editing, and I haven't been on a movie set since then. And that's a really long time between like doing this thing that I supposedly love and want to dedicate my life to. It's really weird. And I mean, we've done like some commercial shoots and little things like that, but I haven't really worked with actors in 3 years, and it feels terrible.
yeah.
And the pandemic isn't exactly helping that, because we were hoping to have already shot our next feature.
Yeah, is that Emmy Gray?
No, I wish it was.
Oh.
Emmy Gray is still somewhere down the road. The next one is Guacamole Yesterdays. Not that I'm any less excited to make that one than I am Emmy Gray. We've just been working on Emmy Gray for so long.
Yeah.
But I'm extremely excited about Guacamole Yesterdays, and we're actively working on that all the time. And we had one night where we got the two leads together and ran through some scenes, and so I guess I technically have worked with actors, but it wasn't
Right.
quite the same.
Yeah. It's like we're trying to we want to break into making features, It's like we've been making shorts for so long. The good thing is we're on movie sets more frequently, because we're like, we can make those shorts every year. And that's it's almost kind of like that's that like fix, that's that drug where we're like, well, if we switch to the feature, it's like it takes so long to write a feature and then figure out how to make it and everything, whereas we know what we're doing on the shorts, we know we can do it every year, we know, it's like it's kind of the transition is difficult.
Yeah, you definitely have an advantage in that you're much more well practiced than we are at this point. And sometimes I'm like, oh no, if we started shooting tomorrow, would I have any idea what I'm doing? And no, I wouldn't. And that's okay.
But it would come back like that, though. Yeah, you'd be like riding a bike.
Something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, every short we made felt so different. And I was learning so much from shoot to shoot about how I wanted to approach it. And I'm not even sure, and I certainly have not figured out directing, but like when we started making movies, I was like, if you asked me, hey, what's a director's job? I'd be like, I don't know that I exactly know. I mean, people ask me questions and I answer them, and I get to storyboard and say like, hey, I think this is how I want to do this. And which always sounds weird, because I want it to be collaborative and not everybody's always talking about, oh, this director has so much vision. And I think that's true to an extent, but like, even I've heard many stories about Kubrick and how Kubrick like was super collaborative and gave scripts to everyone on set, and he would listen to any idea that was put out there, from DP to the guy working security, out at the door. And so
the guy working
I still
security,
don't really know. What?
I'm sorry. I was like, the guy working security, he's like, at the end of 2001, a giant baby. And Kubrick's like, I like that.
I mean,
I'm in.
maybe.
Wait, that was a giant baby? I thought it was just like a close-up of it.
It's all up for interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, art's naturally collaborative. I think a director's job, and I'm not a director, but I would imagine that you take the ideas and then you decide which ones you want to keep and which ones you don't, and that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard compelling arguments that a director's job is a lot in making decisions like that, making decisions about who the team is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think at least my approach to it is collaborative, like I said, but like, yes, in picking the team, although even picking the team is super collaborative. Like Hudson and I work absolutely side by side in picking the team and doing all that, and with input from lots of other producers and whoever else.
Yeah.
And also I feel like I hear this thing where like directors are supposed to know more, know every aspect and all this stuff. And I about halfway through shooting This World Alone, I kind of realized like maybe my job here is a super supportive role. Like my job is to create a sort of vibe foundation that people can work in and that is inspiring for people, but where they can do their best work, because I'm not an actor. And so they know their job better than I do. They know their character even better than I do, because that is their like super specific job. And so the way that I started seeing my job, which this will probably change next time I make a movie and I'll be like, oh no, that was totally wrong. But is just in supporting them in a way that allows them to do their best work, rather than some manipulative controlling thing where I know exactly how they're supposed to act.
Yeah. Yeah, because I find that a lot of times I may not have the answer right away, if someone has a question. So it's like, it's a matter of, one, not like looking like a deer in the headlights and making that person feel like, God, what have I gotten into? Because now the captain of the ship is like, we're all going down. But so not looking like insane, but also just being like, talking it through with that person, and then you know what I mean, sometimes you're figuring it out as you're going, and then but luckily Brad and I co-direct, so like we're always bouncing ideas, and that makes that's how we do stuff.
I karate chop it.
And then but yeah, I think we've always been super collaborative, because we started out working together. So I feel like we have a similar outlook to you, where we're collaborating with everyone on set, and then it's just kind of knowing when to be like, oh no, that's not a good direction. Let's focus on this idea or whatever. Yeah. And doing that in a way that doesn't like totally kill their creativity or whatever.
Right. Right.
I guess my question for you is, because you edit all of your projects, right? So like for us, I know a lot of times when people bring up ideas, sometimes we already know, especially when it comes to shots, we know how the shot progressions already worked, because we've either brainstormed through it, we've done some practice shots, stuff like that. So sometimes when someone's like, what if we do it like this? We might be like, well, we can take a little bit of that, but we kind of want to keep it within this because we have a shot progression going. Do you feel like, what's your editing approach to the projects, when you're working on set? Do you already kind of have the edit in mind, or is your approach like, okay, we're going to film everything, and then once I get to the editing bay, like that's when I'm really going to just sit down, relax, and look at it almost with fresh new eyes?
Like shooting a lot of coverage. And then
well, I mean, like with This World Alone, there was no time for coverage. There was no time to do anything extra. And so I have sort of general ideas about how it should work, but I also I look at filmmaking in three like almost separate phases of screenwriting, which I do very little of. I mean, really none. But Hudson and I are still very collaborative during the screenwriting process. So he's constantly sending me drafts. I'm constantly giving him, notes, and we're constantly working out issues and problems and just kind of what to do. And basically, especially with This World Alone, like having conversations about the themes to try to figure out where things go. I mean, we were think Hudson told you guys the story of going to Comic-Con right before we were shooting and all the insanity of that. But we were a week before production started, and we were flying back at, I don't know, midnight on a Sunday night or something. And we were sitting on the plane, like trying to figure out how the movie ended.
Mm-hmm.
And we were a week from production. So, you know, because we were constantly in conversation about what should it be, and we kind of landed on something, but then we kept talking about it. And so anyway, so there's that first like screenwriting thing that I see as its own beast. And then you take that and everything can change on set,
Mm-hmm.
which I love. I love just the complete chaos of anything can change. And so that's its own beast of just trying to get performances and trying to get awesome shots and trying to cut all the fat so that we can, because there's no time to get anything extra. But then editing to me is like a whole nother thing where I've now got all these pieces and I've got a plan on how it goes together, but I'm not married to anything. Really, anything can be cut, anything can be changed. I love the editing process because to me it's just as powerful as the other two parts of it creatively, and you just there's so much freedom in it. Even if you only have a tiny, you know, a very strict set of shots that you shot, you can still make so many different things out of it.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting to me. At the same time, editing the feature, it was so brutal, and I felt so close to it that our script supervisor, Sonia May, who is an amazing multi-hyphenate person, she came in and helped me edit some. There were scenes where I was just like, I'm lost. And she drove down from Kentucky a couple of times and just kind of helped me work through those edits. And but I think next time I don't know if I want to do it so alone, the editing next time.
Yeah.
It's just, I think having other minds in there, and it would really be beneficial. And sometimes I look at This World Alone and I'm like, how much better could it have been if I maybe had another editor in here, or if maybe I didn't edit it and someone else did, which is really honestly pretty hard for me to say because I like that control. But we're all in service of the final product, right? I mean, I mean, Hudson and I talk about the community and the connection, and like the making of it is where the joy is. And that's why we do it, but it's still all for the purpose of making a thing as best as it can be. And that is sometimes hard because I sometimes think, hey, it could have been better if I'd brought another person in here. There was no money to bring anybody else in, so
right. That's the struggle, right? That's kind of what we're always up against. Is like people are always like, man, you guys wear a lot of hats, and so I'm like, as we have to. How else would we make this movie? Because I mean, we only have X amount of money, and then it's like we've never even considered having someone edit a film because that would cost money. So,
right.
And it's like we do this like for a living every day. We're editing commercials or music videos or something. So it's like it's just natural. We're like, well, we're gonna edit it. But sometimes I wonder it would be interesting, definitely, to see someone else edit all the shots that we. But like Brad said, like Brad and I sit down and we're like we shot list everything, and then we're like, we pretty much know, this is how these, like, the edit is probably gonna work.
Right.
You know, so it's like then I'm like afraid of someone just editing it and not getting what we're trying to do or something, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think that's like small-minded thinking, because obviously every great director in history didn't edit their movies, like from Steven Spielberg to whoever. They've got
Coen brothers, though.
Okay, the Coen brothers did do some of their own editing.
But they're in the room. They're giving ideas.
They're also
talking
two
to
brains.
the editors.
Yeah, there's two of them.
And they're a different.
Soderbergh
I've been
as
thinking
well.
about this a lot because I've been watching Fargo this week. I keep falling asleep, even though it's my favorite, one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah.
But I blame the parenting on me falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's like you do some parenting, watch Fargo, get 10 minutes in, and then
But the stories I've heard about, like, especially or specifically William H. Macy in Fargo, where he said he was doing some line. I think he was in the car dealership doing it, and he changed it a little bit. And they were like, "Whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You have to do it exactly as we wrote it. Like this is intentional."
Yeah.
And that could not be further from how I work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, please make this your own. Like, do your thing on this.
Yeah.
But the Coen brothers, the way that their brain works, and an astounding amount of times they've made movies that are about as close to perfect as it can be. So
yeah.
like,
yeah.
if they can be those kind of artists that can do that, amazing.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about filmmaking is that like everyone has a different approach and they can all lead to great results. But it's not a formula that you have to go by.
Right. Which is really exciting. I mean, it essentially means that I think anyone can make a great movie. If the right team comes together. It's not about film school. It's not about technical proficiency. It's not about any of that. Honestly, I think a lot of it's dumb luck. And some people are luckier than others. I think a lot of it's just being open to like letting the magic happen, because the magic is almost never intentional. It just happens. It's a mistake that turns into magic.
Yeah.
It's really exciting to me. To me, that it's like it's a leveling factor. That if we could even just make it so that anyone had the gear or had the whatever it took, whatever minimal amount it took to make a movie, and some people that could act, which even that isn't necessarily important always.
True.
There have been movies made with people who don't know how to act that are great. Then anybody can do it. That I think there's like this people. I grew up this way. I grew up thinking that to be a filmmaker, you would have to, be in Hollywood, grow up in Hollywood, be connected, have tons of money, something. And so being a filmmaker, it's not like I was a kid. I didn't even have a camcorder growing up. So it's not like I wasn't one of those kids that was like making movies because that was my goal. I didn't think that it was even remotely possible. No, it wasn't until I was doing graphic design work, and I was working with this band, and one of the band members was named Jordan, and an email got sent to the wrong person. It got sent to me instead of the guitarist of the band. And the manager was like, "Hey, we need to decide on a director for our first video." And I had bought a camcorder because I toured all the time. So I just like to document being on tour. And I wrote back and I was like, I'll direct it. I'd never directed anything in my life.
That's awesome.
And they were like, "Do you know what you're doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I do. I'm an artist. I can pick up whatever and make something." And so I did it, and I got signed to a giant major label, and I was able to start, I don't know, doing some work. And
that's so cool.
It's just kind of like oddly falls into place. But I don't even remember why I was telling that story. But just anyone can do it. I'm not even I didn't go to film school. I'm not trained in any way. I really just think I got pretty lucky.
That's a cool story.
Yeah, that is a really cool story.
Yeah, that's interesting. That I feel kind of like kindred spirits with you, because I did a similar thing of like touring and playing music before I made whatever short films and stuff like that. So, and I got into it because of making the music videos for the band, because it was like, again, money. It was like so expensive, and we were on like a small indie label, and they paid for this one music video, but it was like $10,000, and that's a ton of money to spend for a band. And so I've made a lot of music videos, and I've worked with bands on major labels, and I've never gotten to make a video for that much money. Right. Nowhere close. Yeah. So we did. So anyway, so we paid this director, but I was watching a lot, I guess, on the set, and I was like learning kind of just from that. And I was like, as a kid though, I was so into like making camcorder stuff, whatever. But again, I didn't really think that was feasible either. And once I got into music, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do, I guess. So then after that experience, then the label bought us a camera instead, because I was like, I think I can make these and save a bunch of money. And it just started.
And they saw Cha-ching.
Yeah, they were like, oh,
money
cool.
saved.
Yeah, because they were like, this camera, we'll spend like a few grand on the camera and never have to pay for a video again. And so, anyways.
That's so messed up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, awesome for you because it gives you opportunity, but like, it all comes back to money. And
Yeah.
I don't really want to go down this path because I'll just be a total mess. But I really subscribe to that idea that like money ruins everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a mess. I just want to make some movies, and we made This World Alone is a lot of money to me, but as far as movies are concerned, it was an extremely small amount of money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want to do that again, but we want to be able to pay people better.
Yeah. And
Pay people more
we should clarify for the listeners. You guys shot a full-length feature film in 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
It's crazy or stupid or both. And it's a real testament to our team and to every single person who was willing to do that and keep a good attitude and do the work.
Yeah.
Which is to me that I don't remember where I heard that or who said it, but like, to me, making films is all about doing the work. Like if you do the work, you'll end up with a movie. I don't know if it'll be good or not. I don't know if my movie's good or not. It's all subjective anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, the team, just everybody was so motivated to do it, and that is magic.
Mm-hmm.
One of my kids said to the other kid this morning, she said to me, she yelled from the other room. The 8-year-old was like, Leona, the 4-year-old, she said she believes in magic. And I was like, magic exists, kid. Like, just because you're 8, you don't have to be like jaded and cynical already. Magic really exists. And it's just not Harry Potter. It's not in the form you think it is. Magic is 20 people coming together for 10 days and making something much bigger than any one of them could have made.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is real, literal magic.
Yeah.
And that it's how exciting to be able to like essentially work in magic, to be some part of magic. So yeah, we shot it in 10 days. We should have taken a day off in there. We didn't. I lost like 15 pounds in those 10 days. I came back a total bumbling, just like sobbing mess. My wife was like, who are you? What have you done with my husband? Like, and I say like, I don't want to do it that way again, but I'm not sure if we're going to have an opportunity to do it much differently than that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you kind of just got to do it whatever way is available to you.
True.
And take care of everybody on the team as much as you can. I think you really run into problems, obviously, when you're not treating people nicely, or when you're not creating an environment and a morale that is uplifting and encouraging and positive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's my approach to directing, is really making sure the team is like comfortable, and like you said, like you always go from one project and you're like, the next project we got to do it better, not for us to make it easier on us, but for the team, because it's like a lot of people gave a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for this project. And like that meme you sent us the other day, it's like the directors are always the ones at the film festival getting the handshake, and the rest of the crew, as much as you're like, hey, we couldn't do it without the crew, you're name dropping all the people who played a huge role, from PAs to, any other position, grip, camera. But it's like, just making sure people are really just, if the crew's happy and the people want to work on it and they feel like I own just as much of this as the director, then it's like, that's the perfect environment.
Absolutely.
That's how you bring people back too.
Yeah. There's no movie without the team.
Exactly.
And you switch out any member of the team and you have a different movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't care how seemingly small that role is, or that job is on set. It is a job on set that changes something, because no two people are the same. So to me, I started doing this thing that I try to encourage other filmmakers to do. I get so tired of a film buy, and it's just this one usually dude's name.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
didn't
I'm
know what
like-
you meant. Yeah.
I'm like, that one person didn't make this movie.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Even it wasn't even just Vincent Gallo that made Buffalo 66. I mean, he did almost all of it, but like, you change anybody and it's different. So I get it's like my biggest pet peeve is when the director takes all the credit for a film.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not sure how different it would have been if you switched me out or you switched the, I don't know, line producer out. It would have been a different movie.
Mhm.
And so I want everybody to have ownership in it. I also grew up working in restaurants, and I worked at this restaurant in Athens, Georgia called 5 and 10. And I had the best boss ever, Hugh Atchison, who, because he gave us all, it felt like we all had ownership in it. Like we each mattered. We each were a face of that restaurant. We each, if you changed, I was the maitre d' for a long time. If you changed that out, it would be a different restaurant. If you changed the bartender, it would be a different restaurant. And so I really learned there how much the team makes it, not just the chef. And then I watch other restaurants and like, the chef might be incredibly talented, but if he doesn't have the line cooks to pull it off,
Yeah.
Mhm.
if she doesn't have, the front of the house to take care of people and to be good servers, then the restaurant fails. And I don't want to make movies that fail. I want to make movies that people like.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a beautiful note to end on.
Well, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This has been a blast.
I'm really jealous that you guys get to sit together at a table and I'm
I know.
I know.
all lonely down here.
Well, next time we have you come on, hopefully we can all be in the same room.
Yeah.
Because I think we definitely want to have you on again. It's been
Yeah.
a blast.
We'll definitely have you
I
on
would
again.
love that.
Maybe we
absolutely
can
love that.
maybe we'll make a trip to Nashville. We'll bring the studio with us.
Bring it on.
During
it
a
on.
homeschooling session, you're just like,
awesome.
okay, time out. 10 more minutes of the podcast.
Well, do you guys mind just kind of taking over the schooling part?
Well,
Maybe I could
found out
I
the
could get
other
some emails
day-
done.
We found out that Ellis cheated on everything, so
That's
I don't know if
not
I
true.
trust you
Although-
or trust him teaching
It
your
was
kids.
all the classes in school that was like science or history. It was like stuff that like
exactly.
I didn't want to.
You decide if
I
this
didn't-
one, if
I
you want him
didn't
teaching your
think
kids.
I needed.
Are you making an argument that science and history don't matter?
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Absolutely. No, I'm just kidding.
Good.
Oh my gosh.
That's great. Well, thank you guys for having me. This really,
Yeah.
I don't get to do this kind of thing very often. It's really exciting and fun,
Yeah.
and you guys are awesome. And so it's nice to. I mean, this feels like the most community I've had with other filmmakers in many months.
Yeah.
So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. Do you have anything to plug, or can you tell people how they can find you online or anything?
They can't find me online. They can find me back there teaching third graders.
Okay.
Send
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't
Send
really
help.
drink beer.
Care
Send,
pack-
send white wine.
Care packages.
Yeah, I mean, I rarely Instagram. I used to do it a lot. Now I hate it. I'm Noel, Jordan on Instagram.
Okay.
I have a website that's fun to look at sometimes. It's jordan-noel.com, I think.
Yeah, your
I
website.
don't know. Hudson's probably a lot more exciting to follow than me.
Yeah, well, we looked at your website. We were looking at it before you came on, and it's a really nice website. So
Yeah.
I would definitely
Oh, thank
recommend
you.
check that out because there's some really cool music videos and a bunch of your other work. And that's where we saw the teaser for Emmy Gray, and we were like, dude, that looks
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
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 Yeah, it's just that one just is going to cost more. And, hopefully, we think, oh, we're going to make this feature. And then everybody will be like, here's money, making more features. And then we started, we didn't expect to have nearly the reception that we did with This World Alone, especially because we got rejected by all the bigger festivals up front. And we're like, nobody wants this, but we kept going because we want to, have that community, and we love small festivals. I mean, we had been doing them with our short films, and we love them because they're so much more personal. But and then we started winning some of these festivals, which was amazing and shocking, and
Yeah.
beautiful. Which I mixed feelings about festival winning,
Yeah.
competitiveness among filmmakers anyway.
Right.
But it happens, and I try to frame it like it gives us an opportunity to be really excited and to honor other people.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the Phoenix Film Festival, and we made that festival does such an incredible job. We made such great friends in just the first 4 days that, like, when it came to the awards night, and we were literally just like screaming for each other for every winner, because they were like our new best friends. It was awesome.
That's
anyway,
cool.
We started winning awards, and we're like, cool. Now we're definitely going to get distribution. We're definitely going to, we're going to make it. People are going to, and no, I mean, there's 8 billion films that got made in 2018 and 19. So we're just, we're all lost in a sea of it. And that's why we find joy in the making. And the movie will get out one of these days, and we'll make another one when it's possible. And you guys will make a feature, and you guys will be huge and big time. And then, we can open for you guys.
Awesome, man. Well, dude,
either way,
this has been great. We can't wait to see what you cook up next.
Well, we'll see. Send me that new Encounters if you can. I'd like to watch it.
Yeah,
We'll do.
absolutely.
we'll do.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon.
All right, buddy.
Okay,
See you later.
man.
Bye.
Bye.